want to discuss now, there's actually updates on the shooter who murdered Melissa Hortman and her husband. And that guy's name, the suspect, is Vance Boelter. He's been charged, he's in jail, and is awaiting trial. And I saw this post from Patriot Takes saying, in a jailhouse interview, deranged Trump supporter Vance Boelter, who shot Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota, told The Blaze that he took jobs at funeral homes in order to get access to dead bodies so he could conduct COVID-19 investigations. And there's these quotes just to get a sense of the derangement. Because we do have to, I've been saying this when it comes to the Kirk assassin, we both must be factual in understanding the motive and the ideology. And this isn't a team sport thing of, we don't have to ignore that sometimes lunatic. And we have to add that to the conversation as well and get a sense for this guy was a Trump supporter. So all of the pieces can be a part of the puzzle as we understand someone. And the type of person that would murder people in cold blood, he went to their house and killed them in their home and their dog. Mr. Hortman, former House Speaker in Minnesota, Democrat, you're going to be a sick person. And his motivations were pretty clear with his kill list of a bunch of Democrats. So then several who I was aware of in this Blaze interview personally died and saw the devastation on their families. Only reason for doing all that, he's saying 100% of my work in the funeral industry was an investigation. Had heard and read a lot about people dying after getting the COVID-19 shot. So he was working in the funeral industry to investigate? That should have, I wish someone would have raised an alarm bell about this individual. I referenced his political motivations.
We even asked about Mr. Boelter's political affiliations, and David Carlson, once again, his roommate and best friend, known him since fourth grade, did say Boelter voted for Trump and that he was a strong supporter.
And then, like we talked about earlier in the show, always facts first, this person's clearly deranged. So the argument here is someone with a political ideology can weaponize that political ideology. Yes, the broader political rhetoric does matter. And also, they are an individual responsible for their individual actions. And you, if you're MAGA, just like how if it becomes completely clear that this was a left-winger in the Kirk assassination, it seems to be a pretty fair assertion at this point in time, and you're on the left, that's not a part of your movement if you're opposed to violence. Similarly, my wish would be that MAGA folks would have that same, yes, this person also supports Trump, but that doesn't mean you did this, and you can characterize him as completely outside of your movement if you'll passionately defend the peaceful process. Both sides can get their head around that. With these horrific acts of political violence, it shouldn't become this team sport game. But, it's disturbing some of the things he wrote. In the letter, Boelter allegedly wrote that he'd been secretly trained by the U.S. military and participated in secret overseas missions, all in the line of what I thought was doing right and was in the best interest of the United States, and that Governor Tim Walz ordered him to kill the two U.S. senators, Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith, because Tim wanted to be senator. Hey, he just ran for governor again, dude. Asked for comment on the letter, a spokesman for Walz said the tragedy continues to be deeply disturbing for all Minnesotans. So while it is true that he even admitted to being a supporter of Trump, or at least his roommate said that clearly, he did say, oh, no, this had nothing to do with my support for Trump. I just had a whole list of Democrats. This was because I was ordered by Tim Walz or something. Insane signs of derangement, obviously. The New York Post also spoke to him in jail. Let me unmute.
Boelter. Last month, Boelter allegedly murdered Minnesota lawmaker Melissa Hortman and her husband and attempted to murder State Senator John Hortman and his wife. In a series of written messages and two 20-minute video visits with the Post, Boelter said that his motives were not related to President Trump, who he admitted he does support, or related to his pro-life beliefs. Now, Boelter told our reporter...
Okay, so he did say he supports Trump there. So, to the people spreading, just like how I don't like it when the left does it, I just covered that in today's show. But in this case, it wasn't random people, it was elected Republicans spreading conspiracy theories or making jokes, lying that this was some left-winger or something. We'll just be honest. And then again, don't feel like that means you are bad. Just be fully opposed to it. And he said he is a supporter of Trump, like his roommate claimed, but that this was something different, despite him having a list of Democrats and going after them.
Quote, there is a lot of information that will come out in the future that people will look at and judge for themselves. He added that the info goes back 2 years, but wouldn't really expound on that any further. What he did want to talk about, though, was the yet-to-be-released letter that authorities found in his car addressed to FBI Director Kash Patel. Boelter said, quote, certain details of that letter were leaked out that probably painted one kind of picture, but a lot more important details that were in that letter were not leaked out.
Yeah, so he has this whole spiraling web of conspiracy theories as to how he was doing a secret mission and this was for that cause and how people don't know the real truth. It's going to come out. It's a little strange how some of these interviewers are like, oh, a lot of right-wing outlets started perpetuating this idea like, oh, what? We need to learn what Tim Walz has done. Really? It seems to be an abandonment of one's obligation to reason. And the wife of Vance Boelter did divorce him. Now, we don't have time for that. Sorry, let me move forward. I was going to get to a different piece. But just a little note, when it comes to the attempted assassin of Trump in Butler, look at an exchange with Kash Patel. This is kind of concerning.
When your predecessor sat right there in that seat a couple of years, last year in a committee hearing, I asked him a very detailed question about Matthew Thomas Crooks, the shooter responsible for the assassination attempt on President Trump's life. I did get an answer from Chris Wray that day, and I submitted written questions to the FBI and into the record of this committee. And I want to resubmit those questions today because I think we are still awaiting answers to those questions. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit them for the record, please. I'd like to ask you, sir, and the FBI, under your leadership, would you please respond to these questions, and can you commit to doing that?
As soon as the trial's over.
But thank you very much.
As soon as the trial's over, Crooks is dead. A lot of people went, what? Does he not know the specifics of that case? You remember? He shot at Trump and then got shot dead? Why? Maybe it was a slip up, but just another moment of Patel not seeming to be informed enough on this. Or maybe I'm missing the context, but there's no trial, obviously, because correctly, as he was shooting, Secret Service stopped him. Baffling.